What are the best downhill electric bikes in 2020 and 21? Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where we only talk e-bikes. And today on this episode, we are talking about the monster truck in the game, the electric downhill bike. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. And the last couple of months, I've been doing the best e-trail bike, the best e-enduro bike, the best e-hardtail. And I thought I had to do the best downhill monster truck e-bike. But first, let's have a quick breakdown. What's a trail bike, what's an enduro bike, and what's a downhill bike, and who they're suited for. The e-mountain bike world is changing so fast, and that line between trail, enduro, and even downhill bikes are getting closer. But traditionally, a trail bike has between 130 and 160 travel, running on 29 wheels, a water bottle holder, a shorter chainstay, but not always, and a steeper head tube angle, 66, 66 and a half, making that bike more fun to ride on more trails. A trail bike is suited to someone that likes to ride up, down, and do everything. They're very capable bikes, and I find them a little bit more fun on trails that aren't so crazy. And an e-enduro bike will typically come with 160 to 180 mils of travel, sometimes but not always a shorter chainstay. Slacker head angles, 64, 65, 65 and a half. An e-enduro bike is suited to someone that likes to do obviously more aggressive riding, but don't get me wrong, an e-enduro bike can do everything. E-downhill bike will come typically with 180 to 200 mils of travel. Generally a longer chainstay, making that bike more stable at really high speeds. A slacker head tube angle, 63, 64, and not always, but downhill double crown forks. Obviously, a downhill enduro bike is suited to someone that wants to go downhill really fast and get back to the top really fast. Everyone has their favorite e-bikes, and I've probably missed a couple off the list, and I'm sorry about that. But if I was looking at buying an aggressive downhill e-mountain bike right now, these are the bikes that I would be looking at. Number one, Specialized Kenevo. Straight out of the gate, the Kenevo has to make the list. Probably the most classic downhill e-mountain bike that exists at the moment. They're in their second run at the moment, and the new Kenevo, the Mark II, was released 6 to 9 months ago. 180 suspension front and back, 90 Newton meters of torque, powered by the Bros Mag S motor, and a whopping 700 watt battery. So let's look at the geometry numbers, and this one is actually the S4. Specialized have done a different way of sizing now, so they actually want you to think about how you like to ride. A shorter reach bike is gonna make a bike more playful. A longer reach bike is gonna make it more planted on those downhills. Geometry numbers are reach 495, chainstay 454, head tube angle 64, and a 77 seat tube angle. I was actually lucky enough to spend a day on the Kenevo in Australia a couple of months ago. I had so much fun, a great bike, absolute monster truck, definitely a very capable downhill bike, and with that powerful motor and the big battery, it's got to be on the list. Commencal MetaPower SX. Anyone that doesn't know Commencal needs to check the scoreboard in the last couple of years of the World Cup. They have been dominating the downhill. And a lot of the privateers are actually riding their downhill bike because they say it is the best one on the market. And I don't think the SX is an exception. Running on 27 wheels, 180 suspension up front, 170 out back, Shimano E8000 motor with the Shimano 504 watt battery. Geo numbers reach 485, 64 degree head angle, a 445 chainstay, 77 degree seat tube angle. This bike is such a looker, it has to get on the list. But also, Commencal are releasing their 2021 bikes on the last day of August, so make sure you check them out. Number 3, Haibike XDURO Enduro. I was lucky enough to ride this monster truck last year at the Roc de Fleur. And let me tell you, what a fun bike. It has 120 Newton meters of torque powered by the TQ motor, a 630 watt battery. And this thing is a powerhouse going up and down. It really was a lot of fun to ride. The Haibike runs on 27 wheels, 180 suspension front and rear, 467 reach, and a pretty long chainstay at 470. But don't let that put you off, because with that much torque, you really need a long chainstay. 64-degree head angle and a 74-degree seat tube angle. The Haibike is another looker, and if it was a car, it would be a Ferrari. It really is the sports car of e-bikes, and it had to be on the list. And number 4, Husqvarna Extreme Cross. The first downhill e-bike with 200 front and rear travel, and it's from a famous motorbike brand. I'm not a massive motorbike fan, but Husqvarna has an amazing name in the industry, and I'm sure this monster e-bike is the business. As I said, rocking 200 front and back on 27 wheels. I actually think the Extreme Cross is pretty good value at 7.5 grand. The spec is killer. They've actually put their own 160 cranks on their bike, which I actually haven't seen many people make Shimano fitting cranks for an e-bike. If you look at the spec compared to the top of the line Specialized Kenevo and the Extreme Cross, the Extreme Cross blows it out of the water for value for money. It's rocking an E8000 motor with a 650 watt battery. The reach is 485, chainstay of 445, head tube angle 65, and seat tube angle 76. Looking at the geo numbers, the spec, and the price, the Extreme Cross really looks like a lot of fun. And number 5, Whyte E-180. Some of you guys might not know the Whyte brand. They're from England, and they've been making some amazing value e-bikes for the last couple of years, and the E-180 is no exception. Running on 27 wheels front and back, it's rocking a Bosch Gen 4, and now with the new firmware, which I believe you can install in the next month or so, this bad boy has 85 Newton meters of torque, making it actually not on paper, but in the mountains, apparently the king of the mountain at the moment. Coming with a 625 watt battery. And let's look at the geometry numbers. 480mm reach, chainstay 444, seat tube 75.5, and head tube 65. I think the Whyte E-180 is a solid option for the price, but it looks like it's been sold out across the board. So good luck finding one. Let's see what they bring out in 2021. And number 6, Norco Range VLT. The classic Canadian brand has a ripper of a downhill bike here. 180 up front, 170 out back. Running on 27 wheels, Shimano E8000 motor and a 630 watt battery. Let's have a look at the geometry. 480 reach, 63.5 degree head angle, 440 chainstay, seat tube angle 73.5. I really like the look of the Norco. I mean, 63.5 degree head angle, short chainstay. I really like this bike. I think it's definitely a downhill bike, and I'm sure it would rock in the mountains. Okay riders, that's it for me for the best downhill e-mountain bikes for 2020 and 21. Look, there's amazing bikes on the market, and it's a super interesting time to be in the e-mountain bike industry. And riders, what would your downhill e-mountain bike be in 2020? Put your comment below. I really want to know, and it also really helps the channel. And for me, if I was picking an e-downhill bike in 2020 to ride some big mountain stuff, I like the look of the Husqvarna with the 200 front and back and a pretty crazy spec and a pretty good price. But I know it's a very proven motorbike company, but I don't know so much about it in the mountain bike realms. So I think I would be going for the Commencal Meta SX. 180 up front, 170 out back, running on 27s. This bike is super beautiful, and I like the geometry numbers. I don't feel you need double crown forks on a downhill e-bike. I kind of think they look a little bit ugly. And also with the new 38s and the new Zs from RockShox, I don't feel you actually need them. So yeah, in 2020 and 21, that would be my pick. And also riders, make sure you check out Commencal are dropping their 21 Meta. Not sure, there are rumors it's gonna have a new motor, new battery, and maybe even new geometry. So really looking forward to seeing that. And riders, don't forget, share, like, comment on my channel. It really means a lot. And if you fancy watching my long-term review on the Max Power, click here. Or my first how-to manual video, click here. And riders, thanks so much for watching. It really means a lot. And stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.